Good morning, Flow Academates. Today we are going to talk about business planning, and this is part number 2. If you missed the last session for business planning part 1, go to Workplace and you'll find a recorded video of the class and also some business planning materials. Also, there are some business planning materials that we're going to talk about today, and those are all in the knowledge library on Workplace. So check those out. So today is part 2. Today, we're going to actually put together our business plan, and it's going to be based on the things that we worked on last week. If you recall, we had homework of putting together items that came from your business this past year, and that was called the annual review. So let's just take a look at the items that we looked back at so that we know what we want to do this coming year. The first thing we did was the self-assessment, and I would be really excited to hear from you about how you graded yourself on the different categories that we had for the self-assessment. When you go through it, it's kind of eye-opening, and it allows you to say, okay, here are some areas that I really excel and I do really well at, and I'm good at. And then there are some things that maybe you need a little work on, and either you will work on honing those skills, or you might want to find somebody else to do that for you. So those are things to just kind of see where you are in your business and your self-assessment. So my other question would be, what were your top 3 sources of business? For a lot of people, they kind of think that they know where their business came from, but when you really plot it down and you check where business came from, you might be surprised. And so if it was easy to make those deals happen from those sources, then that's what we want to focus on for next year. So these are the items that we're going to need to create our business plan. So what are your income targets for the year? And this is what's your GCI, your gross commission income. How many deals do you actually want to close? And again, you maybe remember we talked about the transaction calculator, which is also in the knowledge library on our Workplace. So check that out. You put in a couple of numbers and it calculates how many deals you need to do, how many people you need to talk to each day. It really is a good indicator of how your business should go going forward. So the next thing we talked about are business parameters. Business parameters are, where do you want your business to be? What types of properties do you want to sell? And what kind of clients do you want to work with? So really understanding this is going to help you develop the way you are going to move forward in your business plan. Then we talked about marketing foundation, and this is really important because this is what is setting you apart as a really good agent. So there are lots of agents out there, as we know. And what is it that is going to draw people to you? What is your differentiator? What is it that makes you special? And that should be pretty easy to figure out. And it's something that's really important. And it's something that you really push forward in your marketing about you, to make you attractive and attract to you the type of clients that you want to work with. Then we talked about action items for next year. What are the things that you want to really focus on in the coming year for your business? Maybe you want to focus on developing investment properties for somebody, or help somebody develop their portfolio of properties. Maybe you want to really focus on specific condo associations. Maybe you want to start getting your business to a higher price point. So what are the types of things that you want to do next year to increase your business? This is a big one. New client development. New client development is finding your new clients, not existing clients, and how are you going to do that development? It probably and hopefully is going to come from previous clients. They're going to be the ones that want to refer their friends and family to you. And the good thing about that, we talked about this last week, the thing that's really great about that is if you enjoyed working with those clients, then you want to be able to work with their friends and family, because they're probably going to be the same like-minded person. And that can really help to grow your business in a positive way. This is another big one, client retention. A lot of times you'll close a deal and you just kind of lose contact with those past clients. Client retention is really important. And I've just put 2 quick symbols here of easy ways to stay in touch with people. Get on the phone with them or send them a note and stay in touch with them. You know, I mentioned this last week and I'm going to say it again because I think it's really important. You'd be surprised You think you close a deal and you're like, oh boy, I haven't talked to that client in 2 months or 3 months. And if I call now, they're going to say like, what are you calling for? But I'll tell you what, if you call somebody and say, hey, it's Kevin, I just wanted to check in and see how things are going, you will be surprised how happy those people are to be back in touch with you. If you don't get a hold of them, if you leave a message, say, hey, no reason to call me back, because then you've let them off the hook. But I just want you to know that I was thinking about you. You'll be surprised how many people call you back really quickly. Then we talked about presentation skills and materials and marketing. And this is how you're going to get the word out about yourself. It might be farming. It might be doing mailers. It might be doing videos on your website. So what types of things do you want to do that you excel at in marketing your business? And then there's technology and education. And this is where using your self-assessment is really going to come in handy. Where did you mark yourself in an area that you need improvement? So if it's something that you can take a class to learn, or if it's worth your time to take a class to learn, awesome. Or it might be worth finding somebody that can take care of that for you. And then personal objectives. This is what Flow Academy is all about. The idea of flow is taking your work life and your professional life and having them coexist. Personal objectives are so important for your business plan. If you want to travel, or I have a whisk on here, if you really enjoy cooking and maybe you want to take some cooking classes. And then the other one that always seems to be top of mind for people, of course, is family. So these things need to be a part of your business plan. And the reason for that is because you need to allow time to meet your goals that you want personally and to make those things happen. And then budget. How much is it going to cost for me to do this? This is something that we often forget about. So if I'm going to do a certain number of mailings a year or a quarter, I need to figure out how much is that going to cost. The other thing is taxes. You always need to put money aside from every deal for your taxes, because it will come to the end of the year if you're not paying your quarterlies, and it's going to be frightening. So make sure that you are budgeting for your taxes. So this is an idea of what a finished plan is going to look like. And this is from an agent who just moved from the Bay Area and is now starting a brand new business in Denver. And so this plan is taking into account that although his GCI was very high in the Bay Area, he's got a lot of legwork to do this coming year to build up business and relationships. So he put a reasonable income, what he believes is realistic income for him of $100,000 this year. He's hoping that is what is going to be possible this year. So all of those things that we talked about are now listed here. So in terms of business parameters, he has completely put out exactly what it is that he wants to sell. Points of interest, it's the piece that we talked about, the things that you need to do to make your business happen, carefully laid out. New business development is also laid out. And then the client retention or relationships, the presentation skills, and technology focus. This puts in front of him exactly what he wants to focus on this year. So it's nice to have all that down on a page. But in order to really make this work, and in order for it to feel like you can accomplish it, what I like to do is break everything into quarters. So I'm going to look at Q1 and I'm going to say in Q1, these are the things I want to do, Q2, 3, and 4. And it might look something like this. So we see here for this person in quarter 1, he wants to have 9 colleague, vendor, partner coffees in that quarter. He wants to put together an agent bio now that he's moved to a new area. He wants to work on his buyer presentation. So you can see what he has here, and he wants to do three deals, or he wants to analyze 3 deals. He wants to close 1 deal for his first quarter in Denver. So it's interesting to see how he has broken out. I want to do this many deals in Q1, this many deals in Q2, 3, and 4. And the thing that's really important is if he was able to do, say, 4 deals in quarter 1, it kind of takes the pressure off for quarter 2, or it puts the pressure on to keep it going and to continue to build his business that way. So it's really important as you're looking at your business plan that you feel free to adjust it. If you did really well in Q1, you can take, like I just said, you can take the pressure off for Q2 or push yourself that much more. And at the end of every quarter, sit down, see where you came out against your goals, and see how you maybe want to adjust the next quarter. This, I think, is really important. I have my business plan in front of me and I look at it every single day. And it's something that you might want to put on your daily navigator as it's not a should do, it's a must do. Take a look at your business plan, see where you are. And the daily navigator is our tool that really keeps that in front of us all the time. So here's another tip. I like to have my business plan complete and I share it with people. I share it with colleagues. I share it with my spouse. I share it with my sister. I share with people because I feel just like the daily navigator, I'm giving this to them and they're holding me accountable to what I said. So I think that's a really important thing, is to share your business plan as well. So I just wanted to say one more time, all the documents for your business planning from part 1 last week and part 2 today are on the Knowledge Library on Workplace. And I'd also invite you to join Rick and me on Office Hour on Thursdays from 9 to 10 Pacific. If you need help kind of looking at this, does this look right? Please feel free to share it with us. And we are here to help you, to guide you through it and to make it a document that's going to work for you. So we can open it up to discussion. Rick, do you have anything to share today?
Well, first of all, I just think that was great. And I love the purposefulness. I think one of the things that we talk about all the time, Kevin, is the immersion of what we're trying to do here. It's an easy thing to kind of not be that purposeful and let the day kind of dictate, maybe your circumstances or whatever dictate what you're going to do. And, like we've spoken before, it's like a rudderless ship, right? You're just kind of going about bumping into deals every now and then. But the more we can immerse ourselves in a real plan of what we're trying to do and navigate towards a specific goal, the more likely we are to achieve that goal. And a big part of that is having a big picture business plan for the year broken down into the quarter. And then ultimately, you've got it broken down into daily activities through the income transaction calculator, which is a super great tool, very easy to use. And then, of course, that translates down to the daily navigator. The more we can take this process and be purposeful about it down to a daily basis, the more likely we are to not only achieve those goals, but not have the franticness and the roller coaster of, I need to do more. Oh, I didn't do enough. I'm overwhelmed. All of these places where it's so easy for agents to let the day kind of pull them around. We were just talking, we have one person that kind of told us, hey, I can't do that today because I've got these things going on. And, the things that they talked about. And remember, Kevin and I do this, Nicole as well. We're all doing transactions. So we're immersed in it with you. And it's easy for an agent to go, I've got these things. And so I can't possibly be held accountable to reaching out to people, for example, today, because I've got this chaos over here. And the reality is that you can actually. And that a lot of times the chaos that we think is big is really a 15-minute event, or maybe it's 30 minutes. And then the rest of the day can be back to, being purposeful. The one thing I wanted to just kind of add to that, add to the check-ins. I thought you made a great point. It's so common for agents to, have lost touch with their past clients. And you talked about this last week as well. Don't worry, just call and say hi, just call and check in. And I wanted to dig a little deeper on that because first of all, I think it's important to make that initial call. And then if we employ, when we do the check-in, the FORD, the family, occupation, recreation, dreams conversation, where we're really being curious about them, that we're not like, hey, I know we haven't talked in 3 years, but hey, you got anybody that wants to buy or sell a home? That's not what we're talking about. The other thing that I found really helpful is to have something to talk about for their benefit. So we do a lot of client events, and client events don't have to be super expensive. They can be fun, but we try and have 2 or 3. It's been a little harder recently with COVID, but having 2 or 3 events a year, whether it's a movie theater or, last year we did a shred event, which was great. A party in the park, but something when we're talking to them going, hey, by the way, even though it's like 3 months away, hey, don't forget, we've got that party in August. I hope you and your family can make it. Or, hey, we've got that shred event in April, and it's a great time after you've done your taxes to get rid of some stuff that you don't need anymore, or whatever it is. But having kind of something you're giving to them rather than them feeling like you're asking for something is also a great way to stay in touch with people. So that's a couple thoughts I had.
I have to tell you, I'm a bit of I have phonophobia. I don't like talking on the phone. And I force myself to make at least 5 phone calls a day. And every time I hang up, it's like, I'm so happy I made that call. And it was really enjoyable to catch up with somebody. And I don't know if it's that kind of fear that, oh, they're not going to want to talk to me, whatever, which I think we all feel sometimes. But it's amazing how when you do reach out to somebody, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh, I was just thinking about you too. Or interesting that you should call. I was wondering about this or that. So a lot of agents lose clients after the deal is closed, and they maybe had a really good experience, but all of a sudden they're lost because they meet somebody else that maybe can help them with real estate. And it's so important to stay in front of people
really is
all the time.
And it's a funny thing because it is out of sight, out of mind. I've had different places that have given me great service on things, and then years later need that service again, and it doesn't even dawn on me that I had those people before. And so do not make the mistake of resting on your laurels. That's an old person's term. I said that to Nicole a few weeks ago. She goes, what's a laurel? So don't rest thinking, oh, I did such a great job that even though it was 3 years ago that I sold them a house or bought them, helped them buy a house, that they'll for sure call me again. Like, it does not work that way. It just really doesn't. And that we have all these ways of staying in touch with people. Definitely phone calls, random text messages, birthday calls, anniversary calls. Be systemic. We have all kinds of systems in place that we can help you with in terms of staying in front of people. We have a proof of, what do we call it, Nicole? Now my brain's not working. Evidence of success. There, I took it away from you before you get your feet on. But we have evidence of success. One of our classes that we're going to have coming up is what used to be called Letter of the Heart. We're actually changing it to Below the Waterline, but it's a personal letter that you write to your clients once a month. It's got nothing to do with real estate. So there's all kinds of different ways to stay in front of people, not just phone calls, but the phone calls are super important as well.
And you make a good point. How many times have you thought that you had a good relationship with somebody that you sold a house to, and then all of a sudden you see it listed with somebody else? It's like a dagger. And if we would just stay in touch with these people, as you said, Rick, you're going to be the first person in mind that they're going to get in touch with. So, and the other important point is you don't want to be that person that every time the phone rings, they know that it's going to be you, and you're going to say, so who do you know that wants to buy or sell real estate? Because then it's like, I don't want to talk to you. If you make it all about them in the conversation, how are you doing? Then all of a sudden you've built a relationship that's going to last.
Yeah, and there may be an opportunity, and I'm not, I'm not an always or never guy. There may be an opportunity where it does make sense to ask that question, but that's kind of to me, that's an earned place, right? You've earned in the relationship, you've stayed in touch with them, you've come from contributions, they've come to your events. And then, once or twice a year for you to go, hey, by the way, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling a home that I can help today? Or another line I like, I was talking to Nicole about this the other day. Who should I be in conversation with? This is a very aggressive way to say who's thinking about maybe buying or selling a home that I can help. But it's like, who should I be in conversation with? Who do you know that I also should be talking to? And presenting it in a who do you know version versus do you know anybody? Yes, no, that's another thing that's important. Gives their brain an opportunity to go, yeah, who should Rick be talking to? But that's an earned place. You don't just call people out of the blue, having not spoken to them for a few years. You sold them a house and go, Hey, John, I know it's been a while since we talked, but who's thinking about buying or selling a home? Or when are you going to buy or sell, John? I don't want to be that guy. I don't think anybody does.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, again, if you need help with your business plan, get on office hour with us every Thursday, 9 to 10, and let's get it done. If you put a plan together and you stick with it, you are not going to believe how it's going to change the way that you approach your business and the success that comes from it.